Ladies, let me tell you something real quick. A man doesn't go crazy because of how you look, what you wear, or how much makeup you got on. No. A man goes crazy when you know how to talk to him. See, men are simple, but they're also fragile in ways they'll never admit. They want to feel like the hero, even when they're struggling. And the words you speak can either build him up or break him down. People spend so much time worrying about how they look. The right outfit, the right makeup, the right haircut, the perfect picture for social media. And yes, looks can grab someone's attention. Looks can stop a person in their tracks. But let's be honest, looks alone don't keep anyone's attention for long. Once the surface beauty fades into the background, what really keeps someone drawn to you is the way you make them feel, and nothing makes a man feel more alive than the words spoken to him. See, attraction may start with the eyes, but love, respect, and admiration live in the ears and the heart. You can be the most beautiful woman in the room, but if your words tear down instead of build up, that beauty turns empty real quick. On the flip side, even if you're not the flashiest person in the room, when your words inspire, encourage, and speak life into someone, you become unforgettable. Beauty might open the door, but words decide whether or not you get to stay inside. Men in particular are hungry for the right kind of words. They want to be admired, respected, and uplifted. They may not always say it out loud, but it's in their nature. A man wants to know that his woman sees him not just for what he does, but for who he's trying to become. And the quickest way to light that fire in him is with words. When you say, I believe in you, it hits differently. It's not just encouragement, it's empowerment. It makes him stand taller, walk prouder, and push harder. You've given him fuel that no mirror or fancy suit could ever provide. Now here's where it gets real. Looks fade. Time changes everybody. But words can last a lifetime. Think about it. A compliment you heard 10 years ago can still bring a smile to your face today. A word of encouragement at your lowest point can echo in your soul for decades. Words have power that beauty simply doesn't. They linger, they repeat, they replay in someone's mind when they're alone. And the right words can be a man's anchor when everything else around him feels shaky. But let's not get it twisted. This doesn't mean you just pour out sweet lines without meaning them. Men can tell the difference between empty flattery and genuine admiration. It's not about saying what you think he wants to hear. It's about speaking what you truly feel in a way that lifts him higher. If you respect him, tell him. If you're proud of him, say it. If you see his effort, acknowledge it. Those words carry weight. And that weight is far heavier than any makeup kit or designer dress. Understand this, a man can find beauty anywhere. Walk outside, turn on TV, scroll through a phone. Beauty is everywhere. But what he can't find everywhere is someone who speaks to his soul. That's rare. That's valuable. That's what sets you apart. Looks can be replaced, but the way your words make him feel, that's one of a kind. That's the difference between someone he notices and someone he never forgets. So yes, take care of yourself. Look good, dress well, feel confident in your skin. That matters. But never think that beauty alone is enough to hold a man's heart. Because when the day gets heavy, when he feels like giving up, he won't remember the color of your lipstick. He'll remember the moment you told him, you got this, I'm with you, I believe in you. That's the voice he'll replay in his mind. That's the reason he'll fight harder, love deeper, and go crazy for you. At the end of the day, beauty may be the spark, but words, they're the fire that keeps it burning. One of the deepest truths about men, a truth many people overlook, is that men crave respect and affirmation. It's not just a want, it's a need. A man's spirit feeds on it the way his body feeds on food. Respect to a man is what oxygen is to his lungs. Without it, he suffocates. You can love him, you can care for him, you can even sacrifice for him. But if he feels disrespected or unappreciated, there will always be an emptiness inside him that nothing else can fill. Now let's be clear. Respect doesn't mean bowing down or losing your power. Respect doesn't mean letting him walk over you. It means recognizing his role, his effort, his dreams, and giving them weight. Men thrive when they know that the woman in their life sees them not just as they are, but as who they can be. When a man feels respected, it strengthens him. It gives him courage to keep pushing when the world tells him to quit. Think about it. The world beats men up every single day. They face pressure to perform, to provide, to succeed, to carry weight most people will never see. And when he walks through that front door after fighting battles you don't even know about, the last thing he wants is more criticism or dismissal. What he craves is affirmation. A word that says, I see you. I appreciate what you're doing. I'm proud of you. Those simple words can flip his whole spirit around. They can turn a weary man into a warrior. Here's the thing. Men might not admit it. Pride keeps many of them from saying, I need to hear this from you. But look closely and you'll see it in his eyes, in his energy, in the way he responds when you affirm him. The moment you say, I trust you, or you make me feel safe, or I respect the way you handle things, watch how his shoulders square up. Watch how his confidence rises. You've just given him something no paycheck, no applause, no spotlight can ever match. Respect is the fuel that keeps a man going. Without it, he might still keep moving, but he'll run on empty. He'll work, he'll grind, he'll keep showing up, but deep inside, he'll feel drained, unappreciated, and overlooked. But with respect and affirmation, that man becomes unstoppable. He'll climb mountains, cross oceans, and break down walls just to keep that feeling alive. Now let's flip it. Disrespect does the opposite. Words that belittle, constant criticism, comparisons, or making him feel like he's never enough. Those cut deeper than you know. A man might not argue back. He might not show it on his face, but inside it eats away at him. And over time, it can break him down. That's why it's so important to understand the power of your words. Respect builds, disrespect destroys. So what does affirmation really look like? It's not about empty compliments or sugarcoating the truth. Men don't need you to lie to them. What they need is recognition. When he works hard, acknowledge it. When he tries, even if he doesn't succeed, tell him you see the effort. When he leads, let him know you trust his judgment. These affirmations aren't weakness, they're strength. They create an atmosphere where love and partnership can thrive. Because here's the truth, love without respect doesn't last. A man can live without a lot of things, but he can't flourish without respect. It's in his design, it's how he's wired. And when you combine respect with genuine affirmation, you unlock the best version of him. You don't just get the man he is, you get the man he's capable of becoming. So remember this, men crave respect and affirmation the way they crave air and water. Give him that not by losing yourself, but by lifting him up with your words and your presence, and he'll go crazy for you in ways you never imagined. Encouragement is one of the most powerful forces in a relationship, and yet it's one of the most overlooked. People underestimate just how much strength a few well-placed words can give someone, especially a man. You see, men may act tough, they may walk with confidence, and they may carry themselves like nothing can shake them. But behind all that, there are doubts, fears, and moments when they question if they're really enough. That's where encouragement comes in. It's the reminder that they can keep going, that they are capable, that they're not alone in the fight. Encouragement doesn't have to be long speeches or dramatic declarations. Sometimes it's as simple as, I believe in you, or you've got this. Those short sentences can light a fire inside a man's spirit. They can turn hesitation into courage, fatigue into energy, and defeat into determination. Encouragement builds strength because it reaches a man where nothing else can. It touches his confidence, his identity, and his purpose. Think about it like this. Life constantly throws challenges at men. They face pressure at work, struggles with finances, expectations from family, and the burden of trying to live up to society's definition of success. Some days, he may feel like the weight is too much to carry. But when the person he loves most looks at him and says, I see how hard you're working. I'm proud of you. Don't stop now. Suddenly that load doesn't feel as heavy. Encouragement doesn't take away the problem, but it gives him the strength to push through it. This is why encouragement matters so much. It builds resilience. Without encouragement, failure feels final. But with encouragement, failure feels like a stepping stone. When you remind a man that setbacks don't define him, you help him see possibilities instead of dead ends. You help him rise up, shake off the dust, and keep moving forward. That kind of strength doesn't come from muscles or money. It comes from the inside. And encouragement is the spark that keeps that inner strength alive. It's important to understand that encouragement isn't about flattery or pretending everything is perfect. Men don't need fake praise. They need real, honest support. If he's working hard but struggling, encouragement might sound like, I know it's tough right now, but I've seen you handle worse. You'll figure this out. That kind of honesty carries weight because it acknowledges the challenge, but still affirms his ability to rise above it. Another thing about encouragement, it builds trust. When a man knows that the woman in his life is his biggest supporter, he feels safe to be vulnerable. He can admit his fears, share his doubts, and still feel respected. That's powerful because most men don't have that kind of safe space anywhere else. The world demands toughness, but encouragement allows him to drop the mask and still feel strong. That's the kind of strength that deepens love and commitment. And here's the real beauty of it. Encouragement doesn't just build his strength. It strengthens the bond between you. Every time you lift him up with your words, you're adding another brick to the foundation of trust, respect, and love. Over time, that foundation becomes unshakable. He doesn't just see you as his partner. He sees you as his anchor, his safe haven, his source of energy when life tries to drain him. So never underestimate the power of encouragement. It may feel small, but to him, it's everything. Looks might attract him. Respect might ground him. But encouragement gives him the strength to keep becoming the man he was meant to be. At the end of the day, encouragement doesn't just build strength, it builds legacy. Because a man who's been encouraged doesn't just fight for himself, he fights for the love and the future he's building with you. Respect is the secret weapon in any relationship, and yet it's often the thing most taken for granted. Love might bring two people together, but respect is what keeps them together. You can tell a man you love him every single day, but if he feels disrespected, that love won't land the way you think it does. For men, respect is not just a preference. It's a deep emotional need. It is the fuel that powers everything else. His confidence, his drive, his commitment, and his devotion to you. When a man feels respected, he feels empowered. It's like handing him a key that unlocks his best self. Respect tells him, I see your effort. I trust your decisions. I value what you bring to the table. Those words and actions make him want to step into his role with pride. He feels capable of handling whatever life throws at him, not because everything is easy, but because he knows the woman beside him believes in him. That belief transforms him. Disrespect, on the other hand, cuts deeper than most people realize. A careless word, constant criticism, sarcasm, or comparisons to other men. Those things wound a man more than he'll admit. He might not argue. He might not show it on his face, but inside, disrespect chips away at his spirit. Over time, it can cause distance, frustration, and even silence in the relationship. That's why respect truly is the secret weapon. It can either be the invisible force that builds intimacy or the invisible poison that destroys it. Here's the thing. Respect doesn't mean agreeing with everything he does or staying quiet when you disagree. Real respect is about how you handle those disagreements. You can correct without belittling. You can challenge without humiliating. You can speak your truth without stripping away his dignity. That's the difference. A respectful partner knows how to hold him accountable while still protecting his sense of worth. And when you master that balance, you unlock a version of him that will go above and beyond for you. Men are wired to chase achievement, to want to feel like winners in their own lives. And while the world often tells them they're not enough, respect at home can be the antidote to that. When he knows that, regardless of the chaos outside, he has someone who believes in his leadership, his vision, and his heart. It gives him a reason to fight harder. Respect doesn't just build him up, it secures the bond between you. Because when a man feels respected, he responds with loyalty, love, and a determination to protect what he values most. Respect is shown in the little things too. Listening when he speaks, acknowledging his effort, even if it didn't turn out perfectly. letting him know his opinion matters. These small gestures are powerful. They remind him that he is not invisible, that his presence and his role are recognized. You may think these things don't make a difference, but they do. They shape how he sees himself in the relationship and in turn, how he shows up for you. The truth is, beauty might turn his head, but respect captures his heart. Respect makes him want to stay, to build, to commit. It makes him see you as more than a partner. It makes him see you as his safe place, his biggest supporter, and his teammate in life. That's why it's the secret weapon. It doesn't just influence how he feels about himself. It directly shapes how he feels about you. So if you want to unlock the best in a man, don't just focus on how much you love him. Focus on how much you respect him, because love without respect feels shallow, but respect wrapped in love creates something unbreakable. And once a man feels that kind of respect, he won't just give you his best. He'll give you his everything. Balance is key in any relationship, and it's often the difference between one that thrives and one that falls apart. Too much of anything, too much criticism, too much flattery, too much silence can tip the scales in the wrong direction. What keeps love strong is balance, knowing when to encourage, when to challenge, when to lead, and when to step back. That balance creates respect, trust, and harmony, and it's what keeps both partners feeling valued. For men especially, balance matters because they don't just want blind praise. Constantly telling him he's perfect or never holding him accountable won't bring out the best in him. In fact, it can make him complacent. On the other hand, being overly critical, nagging, or pointing out every flaw will drain him and push him away. Balance means you know how to stand by his side as a supporter, but also how to check him with love when he's slipping. It's the ability to say, I believe in you, but also you can do better, and I know you will. This balance shows up in communication too. A healthy relationship doesn't mean you're always in agreement, and it doesn't mean you have to stay silent to keep the peace. Balance means speaking your truth, but doing it with respect. It's the difference between saying you never do anything right and saying, I appreciate your effort, but let's try it a different way. One tears him down, the other guides him forward while still affirming his worth. That's the power of balance. Balance also means knowing when to give space and when to draw close. Men sometimes need quiet moments to process their stress or refocus their energy. If you smother him when he needs space, it feels suffocating. But if you pull away when he needs support, it feels like abandonment. Balance is being tuned in enough to know the difference. Sometimes he needs your silence. Sometimes he needs your voice. Sometimes he needs your touch. And knowing which one to give in the right moment makes all the difference. Another part of balance is in expectations. It's okay to want him to lead, provide, and protect. But it's also important to recognize he's human. He's not always going to get it right. Balance is expecting effort, not perfection. It's saying, I see how hard you're trying and I'm proud of that, instead of demanding he never fails. When you give him room to grow without fear of constant judgment, you create an environment where he feels safe enough to rise. The beauty of balance is that it protects the relationship from extremes. Too much sweetness without honesty, that feels fake. Too much honesty without compassion, that feels harsh. Balance brings both together, the tenderness that nurtures and the truth that strengthens. And when a man feels that, he doesn't just feel loved, he feels understood. That understanding deepens the connection because he knows he doesn't have to be perfect to be respected, but he also knows he can't just settle for less than his best. At its core, balance is about wisdom. It's knowing when to push and when to pull, when to speak and when to listen, when to hold on and when to let go. And it's not always easy. It takes patience, awareness, and love. But when you get it right, you create a rhythm in the relationship that feels steady, safe, and inspiring. So remember, balance is key. Too much of one thing can throw everything off. But when love, respect, correction, and encouragement are kept in harmony, you unlock the true potential of the relationship. And once a man feels that balance where he's both supported and challenged, admired and held accountable, he won't just be with you, he'll grow with you, and that growth will be the foundation of something unshakable. Words touch the soul in ways nothing else can. Looks might catch the eye, money might open doors, status might impress people for a moment, but words, they go deeper. Words bypass the surface and go straight into the heart. They have the power to inspire, to heal, to strengthen, and to transform someone from the inside out. And for a man, the right words from the right woman can mean more than any material thing he could ever have. Think about it. People forget what you wore. They forget what car you drove. They forget what you posted online. But they never forget how your words made them feel. If someone spoke life into you during a low point, you can still remember their exact words years later. And if someone spoke harshly or carelessly, those words can replay in your head like a broken record. That's because words don't just disappear, they echo. They live in the soul. They shape how you see yourself, how you move through the world, and how you love others. For men, this is especially powerful because they carry so much weight silently. A man can look strong on the outside while battling storms on the inside. He can smile in public while privately questioning if he's good enough, if he's doing enough, if he's becoming the man he needs to be. And that's why your words matter. When you speak to him with respect, admiration, and encouragement, you are not just filling his ears. You're speaking directly to his soul. You're reaching the part of him that doubts, that fears, that sometimes wants to quit. Words like, I respect you, I trust you, I believe in you, and I'm proud of you. Don't just sound nice, they restore him. They remind him that he's not invisible. They affirm his worth when the world tries to strip it away. Those words create a strength in him that muscles can't provide and money can't buy. And once you've touched his soul with your words, you've created a bond he can't easily walk away from. But here's the truth. Words can also destroy. Careless criticism, constant comparisons, and disrespectful tones can cut deeper than any knife. A man may act like he doesn't care, but words of disrespect lodge themselves in his spirit. Over time, they weaken him, distance him, and sometimes even break him. That's why it's so important to understand that words aren't neutral. They either build or they break. They either heal or they hurt. Using your words wisely doesn't mean avoiding the truth. It doesn't mean pretending everything is perfect. It means speaking with intention. You can correct without condemning. You can challenge without demeaning. You can express disappointment without stripping away his dignity. That's the balance. That's the wisdom that makes your words not just noise, but nourishment. The beauty of words is that they don't cost anything, but they can change everything. A man can work all day, face rejection, fight through failure, and still be revived by a single sentence when he comes home. Imagine him hearing, I know it's hard, but I'm with you. You've got what it takes. That sentence might give him the strength to wake up tomorrow and fight again. That's the kind of impact words have. They don't just touch the ear. They strengthen the soul. So never underestimate the power of what you speak. Looks may attract him, but words attach him. Looks may excite him, but words ignite him. Because once your words touch his soul, you become more than just a partner. You become his safe place, his motivation, his reminder that he is capable of more than he believes. And that connection is what makes love last. At the end of the day, words are more than sounds. They're seeds. When planted with love, they grow into confidence, strength, and devotion. And when a man receives that kind of word from you, he doesn't just hear it. He feels it. And that feeling lives inside him forever.